This is Rock and Roll English. Real people, real English. Here's your host, Martin Johnston.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Rock and Roll English, episode number 340, baby. Oh yeah. And in today's episode I speak to the Hellraiser. Yes, he is back. I feel like it's been a long time since I made a, let's say, traditional Monday podcast. So here we are back and we are talking about, let me think, talking to strangers. Yes, as always, Rock and Roll English, talking about the most important things in society, in the world, obviously, like talking to strangers. Just before we start, a couple of things. Number one, my audio in this episode is really strange. I think I was so excited to do a Monday podcast again. I was talking to the Hellraiser. I was moving a lot and my microphone was making a bit of a strange noise. Now, you would think after how many years? 7 years, nearly 8 years of podcasting, that I would know what I'm doing. I don't. So apologies for that. That's number one. And number two, on the 18th of September, yes, I had to think about that, I am running a free workshop called Rocking Pronunciation Poems. Okay, as again, it's been a while since I did one of those live classes where lots of people can come. I really like the energy of those things, so I thought, let's do this. And pronunciation poems, actually not just pronunciation poems, rocking pronunciation poems are something that I love because number one, they are fun. They follow the Rock and Roll English rule of not boring. Number two, they are a great way to improve your pronunciation and speak more clearly and naturally, especially because they're fun. You find yourself saying them over and over and over. And number three, they are a great way to improve listening because we break down connected speech. Anyway, it's totally free. It's live. It will be at 8 p.m. European time. So if you live in Italy, Spain, Poland, Sweden, these kind of countries, it will be 8 p.m. your time, 7 p.m. if you're in the UK. So if you want to come along, book your place right now. Places are limited. I think I'm allowed 50 people to come. I can't really remember, but I think it's 50 and places are limited because you have to book your spot. So please do it now. Click the link inside the podcast you are listening to and you can book your space for free. You just need to click the link, enter your name and email address, I think, so you can receive the link to the call. Yep, that's right, isn't it? All of these things are a bit confusing for me. I'm not this great technology kind of guy. I'm just your standard English teacher, but trying to help people online. So yes, stop the episode right now and click on the link, book your spot, enter your name and email address, and I will see you on Wednesday, the 18th of September at 8 p.m. European time. As mentioned, it's totally free, and I guarantee 100% you will learn a lot of things about connected speech, about pronunciation, about listening, and I also guarantee it will be the best English lesson you have ever attended, okay? Guaranteed. Anyway, that is enough of that. I will talk to you again at the end. Oh, one more thing. There is a review in today's episode, which the Hellraiser says I wrote. I did not write this. In fact, I'm going to send an email so everyone can look at it. So if you're not on my email list, go to my website, join it so you can read this, okay? It's on the internet. Someone wrote this for me, okay? I promise. Anyway, that's it. I will talk to you again at the end. Happy listening. Hellraiser, how are you today?
Very good, Martin. How are you?
Very good. That was a very kind of slow, not enthusiastic response there. We were just having a pre-podcast chat. You were so enthusiastic, and now you seem not enthusiastic. You don't want to be here, Hellraiser?
No, not that. I've been getting into like more dramatic pauses in life, just doing a bit of, I guess,
in life
side hustle in acting, and also I had to let the program allow to record, so that's another reason.
Right. The pause thing, that is something I've been working on. I always try to do that. I saw something once where it said the most beautiful note in music is silence, because when the music, if you go to the orchestra, is that what it is? Then it builds like a crescendo, goes, and and then pauses. So I've been trying to do that to speak with more impact, a bit like Barack Obama.
Exactly, and you do resemble him when you're talking as well. It's good. It's quite impressive. Silence is golden, as the song says.
Exactly.
So should we just, maybe what we should do is just not talk for extended periods, and then see what the feedback is like from the fans, from the listeners.
Yeah, good idea. But moving on through the podcast,
Okay.
that will be the
Plan B.
silence then. So it's been a while since you've been on, but how do we usually start the show?
Always reviews.
Yes, do you think we have a review?
You told me we do.
Yeah, I let the cat out of the bag with that one. So yes, this is a 5 stars iTunes review, the ones that we love the most. And it is from Yuki0618, and it says, I have listened to Rock and Roll English for a long time. It has been my best companion while I commuted to work. But today I don't want to talk about Rock and Roll English podcast because everyone else who listens to it knows how special it is. Today I want to talk about Martin's online courses, and I'm not actually going to go into the detail, but she goes into so much detail about how my courses have helped her. And I know it sounds like I wrote this, but I didn't, so I'm going to send an email so people can just read this. No, Hellraiser. I've got the screenshot here, Hellraiser.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
You've created an account with a 0168 at the end. Yeah, okay. This does not smell good. You can just... your reviews are good enough. You don't have to do this.
Well, I'm going to read the end of the review, which says, I know I sound a bit like Martin Sales. Again, I didn't write this, but I'm just someone who benefits from his courses. I hope Martin's courses sell well and Rock and Roll English will make him lots of money because a great teacher like Martin deserves it. Thank you, Martin. So do you think I deserve it, Hellraiser, lots of money?
I think your mum's been active on the review on iTunes. That's what I think. Is there also a link there to how to buy?
No link. Although I have actually left myself reviews in the past and got my mum to do it, but I was very open and honest about it. I said, this is a review I left, and then I read it out. Okay, Hellraiser. But I will email everyone the screenshot of that, and then you can check it out because it's on iTunes. That's why people need to put it on iTunes, so it's there for everyone to see. Hellraiser.
Yeah, that is good.
Okay?
I don't think, I can't believe it in my rock and roll English career. I don't think I've left a review.
Well, you should, because I, as I always say, I will read them, real or fake. I will read them. Okay.
Okay.
This was a real one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're
okay. For the listeners, he's winking.
Definitely not winking. I can also release the video format if you want. Anyway, let's get to the podcast, Hellraiser. Sure. Okay. But thanks very much for that review, Yuki. And again, everyone go and read it. Today, I want to talk about something interesting because something I've been kind of doing a bit recently, I think maybe it's a sign of age, which is talking to strangers. What are your thoughts on this, Hellraiser? Because obviously when we're kids, everyone says don't talk to strangers. In fact, I've found myself saying that to my children already. And when you say things like that, you think, fuck, I am really old now because that's...
Yeah. What kind of context are you talking to strangers in there? I mean, like... Was you going to public urinal, school gates?
You never really want to talk to someone. So the Hellraiser said urinal, which is like the men's toilet thing, useful for men to piss in. So in fact, an interesting thing about urinals is my daughter is obsessed with them. So if I have to take her to the toilet, she always says, "Can I do it in there?"
Okay.
But obviously she's 3 and a girl, and then we have quite a long argument in the public toilet about why she can't use the urinals, and then she makes me use it, which is weird.
Okay, all right.
But no, I don't. You never really want to strike up a conversation when
depends in
pissing,
a pub. Or a gig. I mean, it can be okay. Some of the best conversations I've ever had are at the urinals.
Well, our close friend, Corporal Coma, many times I remember going to the pub with him and getting to the moment, obviously, where you need to go and start talking. And then Corporal Coma would always say, stop talking because I can't concentrate. And then he wouldn't be able to go.
Yeah. He has shy bladder syndrome, maybe.
Well, I think it was stage fright of like you get to the moment, you're there. It's like, oh shit, the moment's here now.
Poor guy.
Another just public kind of urinal story which pops into my mind. I went to a football match once with one of my friends. We get in your queue, which you think is for the urinal. We were kind of next to each other, and then we got to the point where we have to take our trousers down. Well, you don't take them down, you just lower them a bit. Don't take your trousers off.
I'm just going through this in my mind. You do it in a line, and then both of you pull your trousers right down around your ankles. Okay, where were you? At a cafe or something?
No, we were at Southampton's football ground.
Right.
And then when he got to his urinal, I remember he just turned to me and said, "Yup, this is a sink." So he'd been queuing to piss in the sink. But you're at a football match, so you can't say, "Oh, actually, I don't really want to piss in this sink." So he just had to piss in the sink.
That's a busy bathroom, huh? Just go wherever. Wherever drain you can find.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to talking to strangers, I wouldn't really do it in a public toilet, but other places, like, for example, when I flew back from Sicily, like about a month or so ago, when I flew back on my own, it was the day England were playing the semi-final against Holland, and there was a guy there, he had an England shirt on, and then I just looked at him and said, "Big game tonight, hey?" And then boom, we struck up a conversation. We had a bloody brilliant conversation.
For how long? How long was it?
Oh, I think I would say it's about a good maybe 20, 30 minutes. So we actually got off the plane together, and then we went through passport control together. And then I thought, well, I want to get away from him now. So I said, right, okay, see you later. And then I saw him. I was waiting for someone to pick me up outside the airport, and then he was waiting for someone to pick him up outside the airport. And then I was like trying to hide behind a sign. So he was
such a friendly guy.
Well, it was just awkward then because we were like best mates like 10 minutes ago, and then it was kind of like, should I talk to him? And another strange thing, he actually lived in Chelmsford. So I thought, my God, imagine if like we have to get in the car together and his mum says like, do you want to come back? Another strange, quite worrying thing, I kind of thought he was round about my age. Well, I kind of thought he was actually probably 26. And I thought, I can talk to 26-year-olds. I'm basically that age.
Sure.
It's obviously not true. And then we got talking. He said, because he said something like, he keeps in touch with his friends from school, and then he told me he was only 19, and I was like, "You're only 19?" And I said, and he said, "How old are you then?" I said, 39, and he said, "My mum is 38," and I thought, "Oh man, shit,
fucking hell, that's weird." Did you feel like you were grooming him? Was it? I mean, were you like the older man thing?
Well, I don't know. I wanted to say though, bloody hell, your mum had you when she was only 19. What was she thinking?
That's not that young though, is it? Really? Not really.
I mean,
how old is your mum?
It's legal. It's legal age.
It's definitely legal age. Yeah.
But also, when he was talking to me, he said like, "Yeah, I'm going to watch the match with my friends. It's so great. We all keep in contact." And then I said, "But you only left school last year. Like, you've only been keeping in contact with them for 1 year."
Some people are brutal, though.
Because you're only 19.
Some people are brutal, though, aren't they? They just, as soon as they leave school, that's it. You guys are fucking dead to me. Whereas, I mean, maybe that's what we should have done. And then just ended it.
Ended the friendship then.
This is over. Friendship's over. It would have saved us a lot of terrible holidays. And
well, it would have saved you a few punches in the face where we normally go on holiday, and you're strange that you're always the one that gets punched, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm discriminated against. I don't know why.
It's almost as if you're the one causing all the problems, and then someone
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, persecute the victim even further. Shoot the ambulance.
I've never thrown a punch, but
Ever.
I have witnessed the Hellraiser getting punched by
multiple people.
Which, well, our friends, which is the strange thing.
Plenty of other people as well, but it's just just mainly friends.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, let's see. I mean, we are going away for your 40th birthday, aren't we? As we discussed.
So we're going away in September. My birthday's in November, but it's my 40th, so let's just call it my 40th birthday, hey?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
But so, okay, I have got some things about talking to strangers, okay? So I'm just going to read this. It says, one study in London and Chicago found that people who were instructed to talk to fellow passengers on public transport felt more positive about their commute than those who didn't. Thoughts on that? Do you talk to people on the train, on the bus?
On the commute, it's a tricky one. I mean, I remember when I used to live in England and commute for a certain time to London, the worst period of my life. And if anyone, even the closest people to me, if they tried to talk to me on that way in, that would not be good. I mean, I hid from people that I knew really well on the train. If I saw them, I'd just be like, no way. That's why I always used to buy a paper so that I could put it up against my face so that I wouldn't have to look at anyone.
Let alone talking, you don't even want to look at people.
No sir, not on the Misery Express on the way to London in the morning. No way.
Yeah, that the trip to London in the morning, no one's that chatty. I must admit, I think I'm a talker, and I remember a period once when I would I would be in the car with some of our close friends going to London to work. And I remember I would get in the car and then they would both say to me, don't talk to me.
So your trajectory is just going to be one of these old dudes who just fucking yaps and yaps away to people. And everybody's just like, fucking hell. I mean, you already had that as a youngster anyway. God, can Mark just shut the fuck up about what is he talking about? There's nothing to talk about. Sometimes.
I was getting in the car Monday morning, full of beans, like energetic, like, all right, lads, like, did you watch the football yesterday? And then it would just be,
can you
don't talk to me.
Yep.
And then silence for the whole way. But yeah, I think it depends where you're going, because like I said, when I spoke to that person on the plane there, I felt better about my commute. I also spoke to an old couple when we were boarding the plane in Italy. I would say they were in their 70s, and I had a really good chat with them before I got on the plane as well. And then when we got on the plane, and then they kind of quickly said to me, right, see you later. And I was like, God, I thought we could switch numbers and like stay in contact, and you've just fucking just thrown me out to dry like that.
Yeah, I mean, a bit of chit chat is okay, but you don't have to exchange numbers.
Well, that's always the thing, actually. When, like I said, I wouldn't say I made friends, but I had a good chat with this guy, this 19-year-old, talking about football, Chelmsford, but then you get to the point where it's just like, right, it's difficult to close that, to stop that. I think it's just like, right, see you later, never talk to me again.
I don't think you have to say the last bit. Sometimes people don't, that's not well received, is it? But I mean, that is quite tricky. Sometimes what I end up doing, because I do have the same thing, I like talking to people, and other people find it quite irritating. But when I'm trying to close it, sometimes I get a bit carried away and think, oh, they probably don't want to talk to me now, and just like close it down really early, and then have to stand next to them in a queue for another 20 minutes. Just like nodding. So you got to find a balance.
Yeah. Or another thing is holiday. You go on holiday, maybe there are some strangers there, by the pool, you get talking, and then you become great friends on holiday. And then it's like, are we going to stay in contact? Is it worth it? Have you been there before?
Yes. But I mean, do you really ever want to? I mean, holiday's a moment in time, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree. But that's the thing. people never know when the party's finished, do they? I think this is a problem you've always suffered from, Hellraiser. We go out, we have a great night, and you're always the one that's saying, like, let's go back to, like, someone's house and continue this. Whilst I'm the one saying, like, we've had our moment in time. We've had it. I've enjoyed it. Now I'm going home.
You can't equate that to boring the arse off someone in a conversation. That is not your element of fun. That's not it.
Well,
no,
sorry. It's just like a metaphor to help people understand what I mean. It's just the same thing like we were talking about on holiday. You've had that moment. Just leave it there. There's no point like making friends on Facebook and then writing happy birthday to each other for a couple of years, and then you kind of just sort of
absolutely
sort of peters out
completely
a bit.
With you. That's different to going home at 9:30, isn't it, Mark? Which is what I'm talking about.
Look, if we've been out since after work 5, that's 4.5 hours of solid drinking if I go home at 9:30.
So me asking to go somewhere else until 11, I don't think is that wild. Were you wanting to be a pen pal to someone who on holiday, who you've met on holiday, is different? Yeah.
But there have been times where we have literally left places at 2:00 in the morning, and then you say, "Oh, but like our friend of ours we can go back to his garage and listen to music." And I think, yeah, that would be great. Standing in a garage in January at 3:00 in the morning.
Agreed. No, perfect.
Or I could just go to my bed.
Yeah, I think we have to insert like the element of growth and age in this as well. I mean, I know the exact time you're referring to, and that was around probably 22 years ago now.
Right. Okay. Well, you said only 17 years ago earlier.
Okay, fair. Yeah. But I mean, if the garage is cool and there's good music, then let's go.
But you can confirm that you did go back to someone's garage after a night out until probably 6-7 o'clock in the morning.
Can confirm, and with no shame. I had a great time.
But yeah, I recently did make friends with people on holiday by the beach. But to be fair, I wanted to stay in contact with them, but they didn't offer. So they didn't make any sign of movements of like being Facebook friends or anything. Like when you go on holiday, you can see like immediately who the cool people are, and it was like those were the cool people, and I wanted to be part of their group, but I never quite managed it. Which was annoying. But like going down to the beach, like one of my tactics to get in their good books.
Take your shirt off.
No, definitely not that. One of the things was like pick rubbish up just to like show what a good Samaritan I am. So it would just be like, oh sorry, what am I doing? I'm just taking this plastic that I found in the sea. I'm just taking it to the bin because I hate pollution.
And that's how you want to make friends on holiday? Fucking hell.
Well, they were like some of the locals. I thought they were going to say, God, look at this guy. He's such a good guy.
Well, probably they might have done if you weren't looking them square in the eye as you were bending down and picking it up and then like, nodding while you bring it to the bin. There's a way you can go about it, isn't there?
But sadly...
So where were they from? They were Italians or they were... Yeah,
Italians. They're all locals. They basically owned the beach.
Mafia.
And... not sure. They let me use their pedalo.
Okay.
So, and strangely enough, my uncle picked me up from the airport, and it was much more successful than when I picked you up from the airport. But we also started talking about you, because my uncle had just been to Brighton. Obviously, the Hellraiser lived in Brighton. He was telling me he went in the water. And I was saying about when you had your rubber dinghy, so a little rubber boat, and the Hellraiser said, "Yeah, I've got this rubber boat. We can go out on the boat. It's going to be great." Like it was like an actual boat.
It was a 4-berther. It was 4-berther. That was big enough. Go on, get to the point of your story.
And well, I just remember looking at some of those waves, thinking, "Those waves look pretty big," and you were like, "No, it's fine." Got in the boat with a few beers. And then a big wave come along, and next thing, the Hellraiser is flying out of the boat, and the beers are flying out of the boat, and the whole beach erupts with laughter.
Right. There's a grain of truth in that, as always, but the majority of that is total bullshit. I, as captain of the ship, had my 4 crew. Then I'm saying, hold on to the boat because there's a wave coming. Everyone deserted. The crew fucking deserted. Everyone just let go of the boat. I'm the captain. I'm going down with my ship, whatever happens. I'm on it. Bam. The wave hits. No crew around. I'm in the air. And yes, the beach did laugh. But, you know, I did my duty. I went down with the ship.
Yeah. See, it's funny you're talking about that, how you were the captain of the ship, because that is the real impression that I got.
I had the hat. I had a hat.
You were on this fucking little like blow up boat, inflatable boat, which like my kids
rubber
use.
Dinghy, 4-berther. It was. We could have put an outboard engine on that and gone to France.
I don't really know what a 4-berther is. I just imagine 4 persons is 4 people. Exactly. Right. What is berther? What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm not a real captain.
I thought you were a captain. I thought you were in with all of this lingo.
No, I didn't do the certification. I just went off road with it. But yeah, I mean.
But you're familiar with the sea anyway. With your diving, you do lots of scuba diving, don't you?
I'm familiar with the sea.
Yeah. You're basically a fish. Okay, we are going to continue this conversation in the Rock and Roll English family membership area, which unfortunately is closed at the moment. It will be opening again in probably 5-6 weeks time, and if you're interested in joining, you can get more than 1,000 episodes and to be part of the best English learning community in the world. Lots of things going on, competitions, weekly lessons, lots of great stuff. Yeah, as you can tell, I didn't write that review at the start because I don't even know how to talk about the things that I have at Rock and Roll English. I just say, yeah, it's great. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the vocabulary from today. I have a list here. So we spoke about music, of how it builds up to a crescendo. So a crescendo where it's building, and then there is the silence. We also spoke about urinals, which are the toilets men use. A lot of times today, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Many times today, we mentioned the phrasal verb to get talking to someone. I said, I got talking to someone at the airport. So when you get talking to someone, you don't really maybe intend to start talking to them. It just kind of happens. And we also said, I struck up a conversation. Now, when you strike up a conversation, you intended it. You went to talk to that person and struck up a conversation. I also mentioned about this famous review that I let the cat out of the bag with that one. And I told the Hellraiser we had one before the conversation started. So to let the cat out of the bag, to reveal the secret. And the Hellraiser said that I am someone that always yaps. So if you yap, it is a British slang for someone that talks a lot. We also mentioned stage fright, about how some people, maybe when they go to the toilet, get stage fright. So this is a kind of funny term used, like if you are performing at the theatre and there are 5,000 people there, and then you get on stage and then you're too scared to say anything, you stay silent, that is getting stage fright. But you can also get it when you are standing next to a man in the toilet and you have to do your business. So that's it for today. I will see you in 2 weeks for the podcast, but I am also going to make some extra podcasts this week, so you know what you can expect at the free workshop, Rocking Pronunciation Poems. Please come along. I guarantee it is going to be rocking. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I also guarantee you are going to learn more than a thing or two. So thanks a lot for listening. I will see you very soon, but in the meantime, just keep on rocking, baby.
Thanks so much for listening to Rock and Roll English. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit rockandrollenglish.com and facebook.com/rockandrollenglish. We'll catch you next time.